Who are you, most sweet God, and who am I? Every human heart asks that question, and it's an important part on our journey of discernment.
Hey, I'm Father Mark Mary.
And I am Sister Maria Regina.
And I am a Franciscan Friar of the Renewal.
And I am a Sister of Life.
Sister Maria Regina, welcome.
Thank you.
Great to have another Sister of Life with us. Always a big hit with the fans, with myself as well. Sister Maria Regina is the Vocations Director for the Sister of Life. So she knows a little something about discernment, and she's going to share a little something with us about discernment.
It's great. Yeah, I think the first question is why even talk about discernment? And discernment, I think, is such an awesome thing to talk about because it is about my heart. It's about God's heart. It's about the path that He has for me of joy and peace. And ultimately, it's my way to get to heaven, which is why we're all here in the first place. So I think another question could be like, what does it even mean to discern? So I want to start with a story. One of our sisters was visiting her family, and she has a little 3-year-old niece named Chloe. And Chloe she was at that age where she had just learned how to tell secrets. And so she said, Auntie, I have a secret I want to tell you. And so Sister bent down and she waited for the secret. And Chloe cupped her hands and she leaned in and she just started giggling. She couldn't say it. And so Sister said, what's so funny, Chloe? I thought you were going to tell me a secret. And I was. Chloe giggled, but you don't have any ears. And I think it's a great way to start with discernment because discernment is about the ears of our hearts. The ears of our hearts listening to the Lord's word of love over my heart, over my life. Discerning my vocation is about receiving the gift of His plan. It's the foundation. It's not a problem that I have to solve. It's not a riddle I have to figure out. It's receiving the gift of His plan. So I think the question comes, how do we dispose ourselves to receive the gift? How do we hear with the ears of our heart what the Lord desires for us? And that's what we're going to shed some light on. The context of discernment, like the foundation, is my relationship of love and trust with our Father in heaven. So ultimately, the Lord is going to be the one to reveal His plan. He loves to do the heavy lifting in our lives. And He's going to be the one who has to show it. So it's like a good parent, they know when the child is ready to receive a gift. And our Father is the same way, that He's going to reveal it to us when we're ready. And so before anything we do, we ask Him to open our hearts. Like Jesus, open my heart, open my eyes, open my ears to hear the good plan that you have for me. It's not something that if I just try hard enough, if I exert a little bit more strength, it's not something, my vocation, I can't grasp it, I can't control it, I can't plan it. I don't discern my vocation in an empty room, in a vacuum. But I come to know and receive my vocation as a gift from my Father who loves me. It's really through coming to know Him and how He created me to love. So what does this look like in discernment? I think the word vocation is actually really significant in itself. I love etymology, and vocation comes from the Latin word vocare, which means to call, to name, or to summon. So a vocation is a calling. It's a calling, and a call takes two people. There's one calling and the one called. One speaks and the other listens. So it's communication in a relationship, which I think is essential. And in a relationship, the important thing is coming to know the other person that's involved. Who are they and who am I? If I don't know him, how will I be able to hear what he's saying to me? There's actually a story about St. Francis, your holy founder, that speaks to this. When St. Francis was alive, one night he was staying in a monastery and there was a man who wanted to know how this holy man prayed. And so he snuck into the chapel late one night and he saw St. Francis there in front of the tabernacle, and he heard St. Francis praying, "Who are you, most sweet God, and who am I? Who are you, most sweet God, and who am I?" That is the foundational question of every human heart. I would encourage everyone to ask this question in prayer. Who are you, most sweet God, and who am I? The question of identity. So a good priest friend that we know, it's actually one of your friars, told us this story. He was standing at a bus stop one day, and he saw a woman approaching the bus stop who was wearing a shirt with the words, it said, "me bad," across the front. And he became deeply aware of his spiritual fatherhood in that moment. And he approached her to tell her the truth, that she's not bad, that she's actually good. And she motions to him that she actually doesn't speak English. She's not understanding. So he tries to say it again, a little bit more slowly, a little bit louder. She's still not getting it. Finally, he realizes. So he decides to communicate in a way that she will understand. And so he blesses her with the sign of the cross. And she understood what he was saying, that she was blessed, she was good, she was loved. And I just thought, that's an awesome image of who God is. God the Father is always trying to find ways to communicate to us in a way that we will understand. In my language, the language of my heart, he is going to communicate. He's relentlessly creative in communicating his love to me. He's always blessing us, affirming us, loving us, choosing us, willing us into existence. You know, the other side of that question, who am I? You know, who are we? Who am I? On a very foundational level, you are an icon of the living God. You know, you are unique and loved and an unrepeatable manifestation of God's creativity and glory. You belong to him. Your deepest identity is beloved. You are chosen and willed into existence. So this is just basic. This is basic truth, even before we ask the question of discernment, you know, to be rooted in who God is and who I am. So this question, who are you, most sweet God, and who am I? It's really from this place of encounter, of asking the Lord to reveal his plan to me and learning how to open my heart to him. That's where the security and trust come from that I need to move forward with trust and joy and peace onto the path that he has for me. But just to kind of set that as the foundation, that discernment is in the context of a relationship with the God who created me, loves me infinitely, and has a beautiful plan for my life and my love, and wants me to be with him forever in heaven. And I just think that is a great place to start.
Yeah, thanks, sister.
Yeah.
And sister, she's going to be with us for 2 more videos. But for this one, I think part of it, right, is like the first question isn't, what do you want me to do? Where am I going to end up? Right? These first questions are, who are you and who am I? It's a question of identity. And right, some of the struggles, I think, and the stresses of discernment and the burden felt is the burden of thinking that we have to figure it out, of the burden of urgency, of the burden of an incompleteness where I am. But if we actually know who the Lord is and know who we are, and lean into that, like, and stay rooted in that, the burden, like the fruit of that will be rest and peace and confidence as the Lord unfolds and gives us that gift of our vocation, right? We want to lean into this, Lord, who are you? Who am I? And we want that prayer to help be somewhat like release some of the stress, some of the burden, the trying to figure it all out, manage it, manipulate it, things like that, and to receive with open hands what he has for us. And lean into some more practicals. Sister will be back with us next week. Mm-hmm. Great. Well, thank you for watching. Remember, we are pilgrims on this earth. Somos peregrinos, poco a poco, little by little. Vamos a llegar. We're going to make it. All right. God bless y'all.